But back to some of these primetime games. Freaking you have Philly against
Talking about you say a primetime game?
No, wait, that wasn't a primetime game. Wait, who they play against? That played against the Jets. Oh shit!
You see how he does me, John? You see how he does that? He did that on purpose. Because we was talking about this before the recording. He did that on purpose. It's crazy.
Oh shit!
There's nothing.
It's late. I'm sorry.
I will say,
sorry.
It's all right.
This is what I will say.
Us talking about the Giants game.
Yeah. Oh,
I will say this about the Eagles. I was not impressed. Even though they blew out the Jets, I was not impressed by the Eagles from the standpoint of their offense only was able to muster up 17 points. And there was a lot of talk about, oh, this offense is finding its groove. But aside from the first drive of the game and the last drive before halftime, the Eagles offense didn't do anything. I mean, the Eagles defense put up 14 points.
Yeah, the Jets defense actually wasn't that bad throughout the game. It was just that they were on the field way too much. They couldn't do anything really.
That's been the case all season.
Yeah, definitely has been the case all season. But this is like it doesn't really help when your offense is anemic. And y'all, I'm just letting y'all know. I see a second dude with a leaf blower. No funny shit. I'm watching him.
All right, just when it starts, just we'll just leave like a gap, like a decent sized gap, like maybe just like 3 or 4 seconds of just that background, so I'm able to edit it out.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't want to go into the Jets because, like, I feel like we just summed it up right there. Like, we don't even need to.
Their breadth of talent, and they got a lot of injuries. That's basically all you need to know.
Yeah, it's a wash for the season. It's okay.
It's a wash, and it's an explainable wash. I don't care
for
what anybody
both New York teams. Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel too.
Your starting quarterback goes down with mono for the first 5 weeks of the season. Your best defensive player is out with the groin for 5 weeks. It's a wash, but it's okay. Now, if the offense still looks anemic when Darnold gets back, we can have a conversation. Yeah. But until then, there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Any other? Well, let's see. I'm going through the games right now to see anything that I really want to talk about. All right,
Monday night one. You know who's else a fraud? The Browns. The Browns played us. We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. Oh my goodness. Yo, we came into the season thinking, all right, Browns is gonna go to the playoffs. These guys are somebody. Yo, as bad as the Jets quarterback played this Sunday, how did Baker Mayfield played worse? Had less yards, less completions, and a lower.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, he got pulled.
Yeah. Honestly, we spoke about this in the beginning of the season. I'm a Jimmy G fan. I still think it's going to take me a bit into his flow, but he looked good tonight. The 49ers defense looked good tonight.
Yeah,
their O-line looked like the Colts O-line from the Chiefs game,
and their running game looked pretty damn good as well.
Rita, man,
and literally, like it made me completely reevaluate the Browns. Like this week, the Browns and the Chiefs offensive line had to completely reevaluate. But dude, it's a mess, and it's like, to me, it felt like Baker wasn't throwing good balls, and the good balls he threw got dropped.
Yes, especially the interception on the goal line.
Oh my god, that was
unfortunate.
You figure because the game could change right there. They score that touchdown. I mean, you're talking about a different game. Yeah.
My question is, is it all on Baker? It's like, obviously there's different things to it. Is it all on Baker? And how much do you put into Freddie Kitchens?
I mean, Baker. There's times where Baker does not look comfortable in the pocket. He's looking. He's literally like there's replays where he's literally staring down one receiver for all 4 seconds. He's in the pocket, throws it, and it's either tipped or something bad happens. I mean, the play calling is spotty too, but I mean the players are the ones to execute it. I don't know. I think it's more Baker at this point. I mean, his ball security is awful. I mean, the one with where Bosa got him, he wasn't even trying to strip him. He literally just hit him in the back and he dropped the ball. So
Yeah.
I think it's more on Baker at this point, but so far the marriage between Kitchens and Baker is not panned out.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to side with JT on this, just because that you got to think they just came off of beating. Yeah, they just came off a great win. So you got to think that Freddie Kitchens' game plan, he's getting these dudes ready, but Baker just does not. When you can't establish the pass, when you have receivers like Odell and Jarvis, and even outside of that, when it's gonna limit things for Nick Chubb. They have the players, they have the talent, but Baker just doesn't. Like, more so what JT was saying, he kind of said it all. But I don't think you could really blame Freddie Kitchens at this point, even though I know myself, I was saying that maybe you have to look at the coach, but he's putting a game plan in, and I think if they were sticking to it and rocking with what he was doing, then but the players got to play too.
Yeah, I agree. I do feel like it's definitely more on Baker. My thing is, who is the guy who coached at the end of last season? It wasn't him, right? It wasn't Kitchens.
It was Hugh Jackson. Then after, I think, 3 weeks, he got fired, and then Greg Williams took over.
Greg Williams, the Jets defensive coordinator.
Because Greg Williams and Baker fuck with him heavy. So my thing is, if Baker's not playing well, but is Baker not? Also, do you think he's just not fully sold on Kitchens as well?
Well, no, because he was the quarterback's coach last year, so he was working with Baker the whole year. And Greg Williams is a defensive guy, so I highly doubt that whatever he was. I highly doubt he had a big hand in whatever the offense was doing. He probably had the offensive coordinator and QB's coach calling the plays on offense, because Greg Williams doesn't.
I will say that, and I was listening to it because looking back between the game and the baseball game, I was hearing a lot of commentary, and you're talking about Kitchens. Yeah, they're young, but like, I'm not gonna coach them as much to do the right thing. They just got to do the right thing. And I'm like, I get it, but if you're acknowledging that they clearly need more guidance, your team is leading like the penalties, like, you got to change something. You got to be more involved to some extent. You got to, if shit's not working, if you're consistently making the same mistakes, you got to switch something up. I know it's outside of Baker, but it's a mess, like, all around. Like, even like I don't feel like the pass rush was as good. It's just everything just looks gross. Like, the defense just looked gross. The offense looked disgusting. Yeah, and I feel like we all kind of said this beginning of season 2, and it's just like the Browns will go as far as Baker takes them, because that's it. Like, he's set up. They put him in a position to succeed. Again, obviously, the other side of the ball is out of his control, but they have the talent there, so they gotta put that together as well. But in reality, it comes down to the Browns will go as far as Baker takes them.
Hopefully, this is humbling for Baker, because he
needs to play with that chip again.
Yeah, that's what exactly. He don't need to be worried about like other teams or what everybody else is doing, and like kind of like saying like, I don't want to villainize him and make him the bad guy, but the way that like he was coming for, I don't know if y'all remember this, but like in preseason, like he had said something about Eli Manning and the Giants or whatever else, because Odell obviously got traded there, but it's just like this might be good for him, so that way he knows to just shut up and just not worry about anybody else and just carry his team and just win. Yeah, that's it, and just ball out like how he was. Now that you play well that one season that he had, it's like the lights are gonna be on you, and the Browns already had 2 primetime games, and they don't even look that great.
Yeah.
So, that definitely was a tough game to watch, but they have to figure it out. They're too talented of a team offensively for them to put up 3 points.
Absolutely. But again, shout out to the 49ers defense, because they've had good numbers coming into today, and they look really solid. So it's like, if that offense gets going, I'm not going to say they're going to be a contender or anything, but like, for looking forward, that's a team, it might be one of those teams that you don't want to see.
Yeah. I definitely hear that. It's been a very like unpredictable year of the NFL. Sure. Like it seems like with all these injuries and all of these upset victories, and teams being better than you thought, or like worse than you thought, it kind of even reminds me of like the Colts. Like, and I think that Colts and Chiefs game says a lot, because a lot of people were saying that when Andrew Luck retired, that the Colts did, they was thinking that they was gonna make a real deep playoff run, like they was gonna be really well off. But I think now, with even though Jacoby Brissett didn't play his best game, I think that the way that the defense handled Patrick Mahomes
and the O line,
yeah, that's a fact. Like, mind you, the Chiefs were real hurt. Like you can tell that he's missing Tyreek Hill. Sammy Watkins, who was supposed to play but didn't play. Their O line was getting hurt, and even Patrick Mahomes was getting beat up on. It just shows that, Chiefs are missing their players. But even so, that's not to take anything away from Indianapolis. Like they did their thing, and they came on Sunday night and held it down.
Yeah, no, they played a great game. They ran it down their throat, and they made Mahomes work for it, and then it showed at the end of the game. Like, they had to make the wild ass plays in the first half, and you kind of just saw them like break down a bit, especially the Chiefs O line. You saw them break down because that pass rush was just consistently getting to them. Yeah, I mean, shout out to them. I think I feel like the Colts are just going to consistently trend up throughout this season, and then next year we're going to start talking about them again. I believe in Jacoby. And while this is like a little callback to like with the Browns a bit. Baker has started more games than Jimmy G. Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
I guess so, because what he came in
because he was hurt all year though.
He was hurt. And he was
actually, right, that makes sense.
In general, Baker has started more games than Jimmy G.
Do you want to know another fun Baker stat?
What?
All right. So far, it's not going to be nice. So far on the season, Baker has the same amount of passing touchdowns as Daniel Jones, has a lower passing percentage, and has a lower yards per game. He's also thrown 5 more interceptions